Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. So today we are talking Tradescantia, the Wandering Jew. Now, if you have some of the pink varieties, so I'm talking Maiden's Blush, Tricolor Minima, Blushing Bride, and one or two others, and we'll even take a quick look at Tradescantia Fluminensis, Nanouk, Lilac as well. But you may have noticed that they soon begin to get some brown spots on the leaves, some spotting of various sorts on the leaves. And what I want to do today is show you how I restart my plant, why I think this happens, and how to get yours looking great again. So let's jump in. And we are in. So I'll make this as brief as I possibly can. So what happens here is, this one over here is Tricolor Minima. Now this was over in the warmer side of my greenhouse, and you can see it's looking okay, but it's beginning to get one or two problems with it. There's some crispy leaves there. You can see some of the edges of the leaves are beginning to go brown. It's not doing too badly. There's one in the middle there. I can live with that. That's something that I don't think is going to cause me too much of a problem at the moment. Over here, sorry for the camera work, is the same plant, Tricolor Minima, and you can see this one has begun to develop rather more than the other one did. So let's just go through one of the reasons why, or some of the reasons why I think this happens. So first of all, when I had these in the warmer side of my greenhouse, much more humid, and it just didn't like it. Tradescantia Zebrina, Red Jewel, they're fine. They don't seem to mind high humidity at all. But this one is a bit of a prima donna, and it definitely doesn't like it too humid. So that's one of the issues. Another issue is if you have it in the sun. You would expect, because they are kind of related to the succulent family, you would expect them to be very much at home in the sun. However, behind glass, they don't like it. They might be fine outside. I wouldn't know. I don't live in that kind of a country. But if you have them behind glass in a greenhouse, you definitely want them to be shady. And if you want to keep the colour as well, you definitely want them to be shady. I have a Zebrina over in the bathroom in the house, and it's in a really dark position, and you know, if a human eye considers it to be dark, then it's definitely too dark for most plants. But it's looking great. The Zebrina is looking fine. It's been there a few months now. It's still growing. It's not showing any signs of suffering through the light. So I would definitely say one of the things to do is keep your Tradescantia in a shady spot away from that really bright sunshine, certainly the hot sunshine. So what causes the spotting? So we've said if you have too high humidity, if you keep it in the sunshine too much, that's going to stress it. Overwatering too. They don't really like to be watered too much. They like to dry out and be left a couple of days dried out. I've tried spraying them with like a fungicide, didn't make any difference. They still seem to get and be prone to this browning on the leaves. You can see there. You can kind of get over it a little bit by keep removing them, keep kind of pinching them back. Like that one, for example, I'll completely pinch that one out back to the nearest leaf node at the bottom, or wherever there is a leaf sprouting at the bottom. You can do that for a certain length of time. However, and I'll just show you over here, you may get to a point where, like this plant here, there's just too much of these brown spots for you to kind of, you know, you're thinking, well, I'm going to throw this in the bin. I don't like it. This one, by the way, is a cutting from one of the green leaves over here. I've not tried the variegated leaves. I've not tried the like kind of creamy leaves. I just did one of the really dark green, plain green leaves, and it actually looks really nice. It has a really nice velvety sheen to it for most of the time. So how do I restart them? This one's already been restarted once right at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to do it again. So dead simple. Oh, and by the way, just before I show you that, another reason I think that they might be prone to this leaf spotting, just as the Zebrina, and again I'll just show you over here. This one's not started doing it yet, but the Zebrina and Red Jewel, you'll find that as these trails get longer and longer, up here you start to get like crispy brown leaves falling off, and then you end up with like a length of stem with nothing on it whatsoever. I'm going to keep that for another video, what to do about that. But I think the reasoning is, and the reason some of these are prone to leaf spotting, is that when you think about what they do in the wild, they produce their growths and then they are rooting as they're going all the way along. So they are a prostrate plant, and as they're going along, every root node that touches the earth, they will root as they go. So they're kind of getting rejuvenated as they're going. What you don't see in the wild is like a big long stem that's only supported by one root at the top. And that's what we've got them. You know, we've got them growing in a place where they hang down, they're all growing in one place, and they're not able to root as they grow along. And I'm wondering whether that stresses them to the point that they produce these brown spots on the leaves, or that they start to crisp and dry the leaves up right at the top. So what I'm going to do with this anyway, to restart this plant, really easy. I'm going to simply cut it. Now I can't demonstrate this because one hand's holding the camera and one hand's holding the plant, but I'm going to cut it right back to the level of the pot. But what you've got to make sure is that there are leaves underneath. I've also tried cutting these things back so that there's nothing but kind of burst stem, and you'll find if that happens, the chances of it re-sprouting are quite slim. You've got to leave some leaves underneath there, so it's going to be extremely brutal, very rough and ready. You simply cut right across at the level of the pot, every single stem. It'll look like you've completely destroyed it, and you will find in no time at all those leaves underneath will start to produce new growths. Of course, it's worth giving it a feed as well if you've not been feeding it already, and hopefully your plant will regain the vigour that it did before. I've done it not just with this kind of plain green one, this is really like the one that I experiment on, but I've also done it on the Tricolor Minima. I think I did it on that one as well at the beginning of the year. So just a quick little tip on how to rejuvenate your Tricolor Minima with any kind of pink in them. It's those with the pink in them that seem to be the problem. This one over here, this is Tradescantia Fluminensis Nanouk Lilac, some gorgeous colour on it, and you can see the nice new leaves at the bottom there because I've pinched out the tops, and if you don't know how to pinch out, I've got videos on that. At the moment I've not had any problem with it, but it's still a young plant. I can just see a little bit of browning on the end there, so it remains to be seen whether this particular variety is similar to the Tricolor Minima in that it is prone to these kind of leaf spots. Just feeling it, this one is a lot tougher and it's a lot thicker, definitely a lot more closely resembling a succulent than the Tricolor Minima in the corner there. Okay, and I thought I'd show you what it looks like when it's done. So there it is done. So I'm going to leave that now in the same place as it was before. And just another little point that kind of cropped up in my head was another reason why I think this might happen is that mine has looked great all summer, but as soon as the temperatures dropped to like 12 degrees, I keep that side of the greenhouse at 12 degrees Celsius, and as soon as it dropped to that and stayed at that, then that has also helped to produce these spots on the leaves and make the leaves look not as good. And of course the humidity was high as well, so a mixture of high humidity and low temperatures seems to be what causes the problem, as well as those other issues that I mentioned earlier. So quick tip for you there. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you did, and if you found it useful, and for now I'll see you on the next one. Bye.